Hello, believers, non-believers, and everyone in between. You're listening to Stories with Sapphire. I am Sapphire Sandalo. Now get cozy and open your mind because it's story time.
Hello, everyone. Oh, God. You can still hear my slight congestion because I am still not fully 100% well. But hello, everyone. Welcome to Stories with Sapphire Live. I am Sapphire. If you've noticed, I have a new microphone. It arrived today. I'm gonna see if I like this better than the others. I already do. I mean, the one I had before, I don't know if anyone's familiar with the Shure microphones, but they're very, very quiet, so I had to get real close. But this one I don't really have to, do I? Can you hear me okay? Ay. Well, hello, Yee Yo-Yo, Aina Sharma, Vanessa Palau, Alsu Kemp, Blake Towley, Harley Clown, Lena, Dragon's Lastful, Mofik, Nate Reddy, Christine, School Shooter, what is that username? Cringe Edits, True Can, let's see, did I misspeak? Nini, 1000C, Dev Dia, Partially Burnt Cheese Sandwich, Adam Lombardo, Howl at Me, Blub, 23455. Welcome. So if you're new here, this is your first time at a stream, hello, welcome. I do this every Wednesday at 5:30 Pacific, and I haven't done it for the last 2 weeks because I have been traveling and it's been the holidays. So hello, I'll try to make this a little longer to make up for all that time. Oh my goodness. Hopefully I don't throw up on the stream. And so if you want to submit a story to the stream or the podcast or the animated videos I do, you can send that here to storieswithsapphire@gmail.com. It's right here. Harmony Page. Hi, Harmony. And then at the end, so during the live streams, I choose a couple emails to read. And just, heads up, this is, loosey, it's goosey. I don't really read through the emails beforehand, so I might fumble, I might stumble, I might crumble. But it's all in good fun. And then at the very end, I will pull a card for our collective reading. And I'm going to do it from my Angels and Ancestors Oracle Cards deck because that's one of my favorite decks. Also, if you haven't yet, I have a new video that went up earlier today. I can't believe that was earlier today. Today has felt so long. But yes, that went up today. There's no actual animation in it. That's why it says not animated, but I hope you still enjoy the story. And it's a story that I read on the live stream, so some of you might have heard it, but I did make some little changes. All right, so y'all want to get into this? So here's one. Oh man, I'm gonna sound so gross today, so I hope y'all forgive me. Also, let me know if you like this mic. I like this mic already, yeah? And I love this. I love how the pop screen, it's attached to the shock mount. I love when things are meant for things. So stupid. All right, here we go. Wait, what? This person admits that their story is confusing. So you know what? I don't want to start with that. Let's start with this one. Let's see. Do they want? Okay. Here we go. Hi, Ate Sapphire. I am a Filipino, and here are my stories of horror that I have experienced. Story number 1. My Lolo's gravesite visit. When I was younger, we always visited our Lolo's gravesite every November 1st, a festival in the Philippines where we remember our loved ones who've died. This happened when I was about 10 years old. We were having fun and talking while preparing the candles for our Lolo. Since we're kids and playing, we decided to run around the cemetery, but by accident, my cousins pushed my brother too hard that he almost stepped on another grave name near my Lolo's grave. We were all shocked since the other grave was almost the same as my Lolo's name, which is Ricardo, although he died years longer than my Lolo, who died only recently. After that incident with my brother, we thought it was just nothing, so we went home after that without thinking or worrying what would be the cause of our recklessness. After a few days, sorry, there's like some grammatical errors here, so I'm stumbling, but after a few days after that visit, my brother suddenly got very sick. He had the flu, he couldn't eat, which caused him to be very ill, and at that time it was not common for him because he's a very healthy young man. First, we just gave him drugs and medicine to lessen his suffering. It did not help, though, so my mother decided to take him to a faith healer, or Mang Tatawas. He was creepy, and a lot of weird statues were surrounding his place. I told my mother not to go, and we just went to a doctor. But she got mad, and we still proceeded to enter the dark and creepy Bahay Kubo of... She's calling it a fake healer. Do you mean faith healer? Or fake healer? Charlatan, maybe? Or I guess we'll find out if they're a fake healer in the end of the story. The Mang Tatawas then proceeded to talk in a mumbling voice, which I couldn't really understand. He then put some leaves and burned some candles, which a weird image appeared. A lady, I said out loud. He then replied, yes, indeed, it is a white lady which has been having an interest or crush on my brother, and that she wanted to take him with her since she was so alone and sad. What was scarier was that the white lady lives in front of our house beside a banana tree. So he told us to make alay and to give candles to the white lady and keep repeating to her that my brother is alive and they are not meant to live together many times, so that the white lady would leave the place and my brother as well. Also scarier than this is that he also asked us to revisit my Lolo's gravesite and ask forgiveness to the other lapida, or gravestone, about the incident that my brother committed. He told us to be careful on gravestones since some died for horrible reasons and can be unforgiving as dead spirits, especially the ones who died a long time ago. After that visit to that scary fake healer, my brother got suddenly okay and healed completely. One thing I keep asking myself is, how did he know about the gravestone accident? We never met him before. And how did he know we had a banana tree in front of our house? From that day on, my belief of the dead spirits and fake healer changed. I am a fan of your YouTube channel. I always listen to your videos before going to sleep and while I work. I hope you're able to read this short story, which is based on my family's true events. Maraming salamat, Ate Sapphire, and mabuhay ka. Carla Joy, Dagupan City, Pangasinan, Philippines. Sorry, I stumbled through that one a bit. So that's really interesting. It definitely, so like the white, not a white lady as in a Caucasian lady, but a white lady, like a spirit. Oh my God. Oh, Adam, thank you for the super chat. Everyone should join Sapphire's Patreon and get a reading. She's excellent. No, she didn't tell me to say this. I'm just a fan. I'll say Sapphire. Hey, Adam. Thanks for joining as always. And yes, if y'all are interested, I do have a Patreon. There's 2 tiers. The lower tier is $2. With that, you just get the, what do you call it? You see my Patreon posts. And $7 is when you can join my Discord community. That's really fun because we share scary stories with each other. We share horror movie recommendations, book recommendations. And then I also do like a psychic development circle every week with the Patreon members who can join. And that's always really fun too. So, yeah, check it out. It's patreon.com/storieswithsapphire. Oh my God, guys, I'm so congested. I feel so gross. And it's like just weird reading. Sorry, y'all. This one seems interesting. All right, here we go. This is from S. Hello, I've been a long-time listener of the podcast, and while I myself am a little more skeptical, the podcast has swayed me to be a pretty firm believer in the paranormal. I've never had many experiences myself, aside from possibly living in a haunted house with a pretty tame ghost, all things considered. I remember my action figures getting flung off the desk, my dog's heckles raising in the middle of the night and growling at dark corners, and my friend at one point being held underwater by an unseen force in the pool. Aside from all that, all I've experienced is the occasional unexplainable cold spot or animals acting up. But that's beside the point. Just a little over 2 months ago, I lost someone who meant a lot to me. She had a pretty big online presence and was a well-known name in our little community, so out of respect for her privacy, I'm just going to call her Jay. She was genuinely one of the most amazing people I'd ever known, even if we weren't close. She would talk to you like you were her best friend, even if you'd never spoken before. She built a community where so many felt safe, myself included. Jay cared so much about everyone, and she had some sort of magic ability to make you laugh, even in the darkest of moments. Jay was a brilliant beam of just pure joy, and she'd have everybody smiling within just a few minutes of her joining a chat or getting on voice call. As you can imagine, it was beyond devastating when she died. People were joining her Discord server by the dozens to pay respects, and our entire little online community was grieving her together. It was extremely sudden, and I will never be able to forgive myself for not getting closer to her when I had the chance. I've been stuck in a state of just constant grief ever since the day she died. But these last few weeks, I've noticed a few odd things. Me and a few other friends who knew her and were all grieving her made ourselves a playlist on Spotify of songs that reminded us of her or songs we knew she liked. I connect a lot with people through music, so being able to talk to my friends about Jay and how wonderful she was while music played in the background was a very comforting experience for me. We set the playlist on shuffle, and the first song to play was a song written about the creator of a show that introduced me to Jay. Said creator had died a few years back. We all thought it was a bit weird, but comforting. The next song to play was Already Gone by Sleeping at Last, and I kid you not, some of the lyrics to this song are, "And I want you to know you couldn't have loved me better, but I want you to move on. So I'm already gone." We were all in tears by the end of the song. Then the next song was Wake Me When September Ends by Green Day. She died in the beginning of September. By the end of that song, we were all crying even harder and just quietly listening to the music. The next song was You'll Be All Right by Morrow. It continued like that, songs that I know she would have wanted us to hear. It was such a strange experience. It felt as if she knew I connected with people through music and she wanted to do the same, and that she was trying to tell me it was okay. I went to bed after that and had the most vivid dream of my life. She was there, sitting on a bench in a field of tall grass, and she waited for me to sit down. She almost seemed to be glowing. She looked happy. I'd never seen her face, but I knew it was her. I knew deep down that it was Jay. She just smiled at me, and I can't remember exactly what she said, but she told me it was okay, that she forgave me, that I should be easier on myself. She hugged me, and we sat in silence until I woke up. I woke up and cried my eyes out that morning. It was such a vivid dream. I could almost still feel her presence, and I still felt that peacefulness the dream had. And I've kept having dreams about her. I've kept hearing songs about how it'll be okay, songs with lyrics about how loved I am. Her favorite songs keep coming on the radio. Every day it gets a little less painful, a little easier. These experiences have helped greatly. Hell, I think she's even playing jokes on me. I slipped and fell down the stairs today, but it didn't even hurt, not in the slightest, and it ended up falling right in front of my dog and getting puppy cuddles. That's absolutely the kind of thing she'd find funny, and I couldn't help but laugh and say, "Very funny, Jay," before I stood up and went to finish what I was doing. Sometimes I feel the same presence I feel when I'm interacting with her in my dreams. It's faint, but it's there. I like to think she saw how hard I was struggling and decided to help out, check in on me every once in a while. Anyways, thank you if you read this far. Sincerely, S. Oh, man. Well, first of all, I am very sorry for your loss. And I do believe that when you dreamt about her, that was actually her visiting. Because I don't know about y'all, but people keep saying that, well, here's the thing. So after my grandpa died, I desperately wanted him to show up in my dreams, and I would think about him every single night before I went to bed, and he never showed up for like more than a year. And when he did, it felt very significant. And I do feel like when Jay showed up in your dream, it was her. I mean, we don't know how dreams work, but like, I don't know if I'm explaining myself well, but I do feel like you know when it's them. Does that make sense? Well, I'm very sorry. But I do believe that she is still around. See, that's the thing. When people talk about like the paranormal and ghosts, are like, oh, like, you're creepy. That's like creepy to think about. And then when you think about it, it's not. It's actually people who believe in the paranormal are just really positive, optimistic people, if you think about it, because we're choosing to believe that life doesn't end with death. Like as Manong Lane Wilkin always says, he says the lines of communication have just changed, but they're still part of your life, you know? And that's so beautiful. I think that's so much nicer than being like, okay, well, this person's just no longer existing. You know what I mean? Anyways. Oh, God. Okay, here's one they're asking. Question. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry, everyone. I am congested. All right, here we go. This one is from Leave Me to Weep. I very much believe in ghosts, and despite having only seen silhouettes or felt their presence before, I seem to have stranger encounters for several years. I didn't grow up in a culture with many paranormal beliefs, being raised in a very scientific and non-religious English family with Singaporean roots, so I have no idea what this may be. Since I was 15, I started to have these weird periods of time lasting from 1 to 2 minutes to 15. In those periods, I grow cold, dizzy, and a cloud seems to pass over the sun. I can't feel textures, but my clothes and skin and my hearing dulls. No one responds to me. I can't grab them, talk to them, scream at the top of my lungs. Nothing. I see shadows, and lately, people who stare, and once I come out of this period, disappear. Normally, they just stand and loom, but recently, they move to me, and some even stand next to me. I feel freezing hands on my neck, brushing against my cheek and holding my arm. The last few times it happened, I felt arms around my body, one around my stomach like a child and the other wrapped around my bust with weight on my shoulder, like an adult hugging me. The figures I see look one of four: a small girl, a young man, an Edwardian lady, and a quote-unquote scarlet woman, or someone who'd work at a music hall, I'm unsure. They all look idealistic when I see more than shadows. The two women, fair and beautiful, the performer curvy and sultry, and the lady rich and respectable. The child is cute, dimpled, and well dressed, whilst the young man is strong but slim and handsome. They don't hurt me, but they don't help either. I'm 19 now, and each year they grow more visible and seem more bold. Can you give me any insight on what this may be? Oh, wow. Okay. So it sounds like you've got this whole like spirit family that is following you throughout your life. I mean, the way that you described them looking at you, coming towards you, that is, in my opinion, that is you developing your abilities. You're like you know what I mean? Your beam, your signal, your psychic signal is getting stronger because the spirits can tell when you can see them. They can tell when people see them. And so they're coming to you because they're like, oh, she can see us. And it's the same group of people. So part of me wonders, do you only see them in your home? Like, are you in the same home that you lived in when you were a child? Or maybe what you're seeing are some of your guides. Maybe they're just very distant ancestors of yours. Or they are guides who maybe never had a relationship with you, but they have chosen you to be their what do you call it? Person? To be your guardian. That's my guess. But, you know, I can't, it's hard to know when I don't have like all the information. But it does kind of sound like you have the ability to enter into the trance, like a shamanic trance. Like that's the trance that like many healers, shamans, elders, that's what they induce that so that they can interact with the spirit world. So maybe you have that ability. I think it's worth looking into because that's like pretty sick. Only if you're interested in doing that though. And I thank you so much for sharing that. Oh my god. Ugh. It's like, it's not dripping. It's just like there, you know, and it's just like weird. Sorry if I'm gross. Okay, this one seems interesting. This one's called Messages from Beyond. Hello, Sapphire. I'm new to your podcast, enjoying the episodes about loved ones who have passed, communicating from beyond the living world. I have 2 stories that are very special to me. My grandma, Mordini, my mom's mom, passed away from cancer. She was a very loving, kind woman who had a beautiful spirit. Because she lived 500 miles from where my family lived, our visits were numbered, and I only saw her once before she passed. My parents went to the funeral, but I did not go. I was a teenager, and at that time, I suppose I didn't feel it was important. That decision would leave me a few years later with a lot of guilt. I believe I was in my late teens when one night I had a dream. I dreamt I was at my grandma's funeral. In the dream, my grandmother suddenly came to life. She was so alive and happy. We joined hands and danced, laughing as we twirled around. As my mother entered the room, I said, "Look, Mom, Grandma isn't dead." When I turned around, I see that my grandmother is in a casket. At that moment, I woke up and I began to cry. I missed my grandma, but felt that this was her way of letting me know she was happy and I shouldn't feel bad. My guilt left me, and I was at peace. The other story is about my mother, which I find interesting since the former story was about her mother. Sorry, why didn't I bring water with me? I had the pleasure of having my parents with me through most of my life. My father passed before my mother, which was a blessing in itself. My mom lived for 9 years after my father's death. So my mom and I were close. I loved my mom. She was so kind, gentle, and loving. The best mom ever, at least in my eyes. In 2015, my mom contracted pneumonia and was admitted to the hospital. She recovered and was in a care facility for respiratory rehab before finally being able to go home. At home, she was doing fine until one day she was too weak to even stand. She was admitted to the hospital and diagnosed with C. diff. If you're not familiar, C. diff is a bad bacteria in the intestines. We believe it was caused by the antibiotics she took in the hospital, which in turn killed off the good bacteria in her, allowing the C. diff to take over. Side note, if you are prescribed antibiotics, ask your doctor if you should take a probiotic to keep the good bacteria in your system. In a healthy person, this may not have been an issue, but for a 90-year-old, it's very serious. The doctors did what they could, but she declined. We were told that she would not recover and that we should take her home and get care from hospice. She held on for about a week or so, and it was heartbreaking. My mother did so much for us, and in this moment, I could do nothing for her but keep her comfortable. Within the week, she passed. A few days after, I was cleaning my house, and I noticed a penny on the floor as I walked by with a load of laundry. I thought to myself that I would pick up the penny on my way back, as my hands were full of dirty laundry. I soon forgot, and the penny remained on the floor. Later that night, I was at my sister's house. My other sister, who was staying at my mom's house, mentioned something strange had happened to her that day while she was cleaning. She walked past my mom's bookcase and saw a dime on the floor. She picked it up and put it in her pocket. As she did her work, she walked by the bookcase again, and there was a dime right where she had previously picked up the one in her pocket. She said something about the dime being pennies from heaven. I told her I hadn't heard of that and asked her what she meant. She said that loved ones who pass will leave coins to let us know they are safe in heaven. Okay, this is new to me, but it's a nice way to remember loved ones. The next day, I was going about my day when I looked down, and there was the penny I had meant to pick up the day before. As I went to pick it up, I thought that if this penny had the year I was born, I would know it was from my mom. I picked it up and looked at the date, which was 1964. I was born in 1964. I almost fainted. What? No, this is a coincidence. How? But the proof was there. My birth year on the penny. It was amazing. At that point, I had no doubt that my mom was telling me she was okay and in heaven. It was a bittersweet moment. On the one hand, my mom was gone, and I couldn't see or talk to her, but yet she was in a place where she was safe, and I would never have to worry if she was okay. The universe is amazing. I am discovering its magic every day. Sincerely, Stephanie. I love that. That was amazing. And I have heard so many stories of people who find coins from loved ones. Sometimes it's dimes, sometimes it's pennies. So I 1,000%, 100, beyond a million percent believe that that is a thing that can happen. That's pretty cool. Okay. So I guess that will be our last. I want to end on that note because that was a great one. And also I'm so congested that like I feel so gross talking. So I'm like, all right, let's wrap this up, Sapphire. All right, we're gonna do our reading. Let's see. All right, everyone, take a deep breath. Sounds so gross. Okay. I'm going to draw a card. This will be a message for everyone in the chat, everyone who watches this on playback. If the message resonates with you, great. If it doesn't, that is in itself a message, because, you know, if it's telling you, like, follow your heart, and then it makes you feel like, I don't think that's what I should do, then, like, that's telling you, then follow your logic. You know what I mean? That's what's so cool about cards. And I think that's what people, I think that's in my opinion, when I give readings, I always like to explain it in the least woo-woo way, because it opens up people a little bit more. And then once you're in that open mindset, that's when magic happens, in my opinion. Because I think if you're like, okay, then you're closed off and you're not going to be able to like, you're not going to be able to see the magic. Does that make sense? Okay. I know, Adam, it's going to be a card with like someone blowing a snot bubble. Watch. 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, I love this card. No snot bubbles here. The Elder, move beyond ancestral patterns. So this is the card about like understanding that you can go a different route than your ancestors. All right, here's your message. Move beyond the limitations that have been set for you by family members, past and present. Know that the energy of your spirit is more powerful than genetics and behavioral patterns. The Aboriginal people are the oldest tribal people still living on the planet. Their hunter-gatherer culture and ancient spirituality are rooted in tradition and balance with the earth. So the Aboriginal ancestors are offering you not only wisdom that will help you heal and adapt to the ever-changing planet, but also an understanding of what a spiritual life should be. The Elder is the ancestor who comes with a message of healing change. He is an embodied soul, yet he has had journeys that go beyond the physical. Therefore, he represents a reclamation of power. When he appears, it's an acknowledgement that you have the capacity to move beyond the limitations that have been placed upon you. If you have had expectations of success, failure, sadness, or even sickness placed upon you by your family, it's important to know that you are here to create your own story. This card represents personal healing that will bring healing to your family lineage, past, present, and future. Know that you get to decide what you take on. And also know that your ancestors are rooting for you and are sorry for any setbacks they created for you. I love this card so much. Love, 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 love. Ooh, yeah, I need to go blow my nose. Well, I hope you like that card too. That's one of my favorite ones. Because it's just such a nice reminder that, I mean, it's a little like a rebel card. I mean, obviously tradition is important, but there's also honor in doing things differently, because the world is very different from when, you know, your distant ancestors were alive. So why would you do everything exactly the same? So that's sort of okay. All right, everyone. But Adam, LOL. And what do elders do? Take medicine. What can medicine be used for? Snot. Intuition. Confirmed. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining. I'm so sorry. I'm so, like, disgusting right now. Good night. Yee Yo Yo, Jerusi, Blue Oreo Dragon, Mimi24, Howl at Me, Carrie V, Adam Lombardo, Queen Sundere. I don't know why I said it like that. 8 Angel, Alex Tinsley. Thanks for sticking around to the end, and I hope you all have a great night. See you next week.